Joining me now is Kyle Kulinski, a longtime friend of the Young Turks and also, of course, the host of the Kyle Kulinski Show. Thank you so much for joining us, Kyle.
No, my pleasure. How's it going, Anna?
Good, good. How are you doing?
Pretty good, thanks.
So I wanted to bring you in and discuss electoral politics a little bit with you, especially after the first Democratic debate happened. And I just recently came across a piece in Current Affairs that I thought was really on point in regard to Kamala Harris and how Bernie Sanders needs to prepare for upcoming debates, considering how Kamala Harris does debate really well. I mean, she did a good job in kind of, to use some of Ben Shapiro's language, eviscerating Biden in that one exchange. But I think it would be wrong for Bernie to not be prepared. So let me read you a little piece or an excerpt from this piece and get your thoughts on it. So Eli Massey writes, a common leftist jab at Harris is the sloganeering assertion that Kamala is a cop. This may seem kind of funny and enlightening to people on the left, but to liberals and many independents, it's like saying Kamala is a firefighter. From their point of view, being a cop is a neutral or even honorable profession. While it's true that criminal justice reform is trendy at the moment, for most people, being a prosecutor is not actually a negative. And I think that Massey is completely right here because Biden's response to Kamala was, well, you're a cop, and it didn't really play well. So how can Bernie, in your view, prepare for future debates knowing that Kamala debates the way that she does?
You know, that's a really good question. And to be honest with you, I never really thought about that in detail because I just saw the way that Kamala took out Biden. And my initial reaction was, oh, this might actually help Bernie because Biden, even though he's a paper tiger, I think he's still leading in the polls. So to have somebody like go for Biden's jugular and take him down a few pegs, even though it bumped up Kamala a little bit, Bernie is still ahead of Kamala. So honestly, I was thinking about it more from like a selfish perspective for the Bernie campaign, but you know, I don't know, it's tough because Bernie is in like a uniquely bad position being somebody who can be like caricatured by the media as just like an old white guy. So he almost has to like walk on eggshells when he goes after like a woman of color who he's running against. And the trick with Bernie is really the exact opposite of a trick. It's just when people know his record and when people know his consistency with the policies that he's fought for his entire career, that's the appeal of Bernie Sanders, is that he's this old swashbuckling populist, anti-corruption leftist who has the policy chops and the record to prove it. So, I mean, if he can find a way in like subtle ways to point out Kamala Harris's record, to point out the fact that she took money from Steve Mnuchin and then didn't prosecute Steve Mnuchin when she was the Attorney General of California. Like there's a lot of concerning stuff in her record. I mean, she was laughing at the idea of legalizing marijuana in 2014, which is really not that long ago. So if he could like find a way to subtly point that stuff out and plant the seeds, then that could help him. But I do think that she's going to be a formidable opponent because I think she's really good at playing this game of politics, and she comes across a lot more sincere than a lot of the other people who are doing it. And the thing that really rubbed me the wrong way is that apparently Kamala's campaign had shirts that, you know, I think, what did it say on the shirt? Something about the line that she delivered to Biden, that little girl was me or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I remember them putting out those shirts shortly after the debate happened. But I mean, I think you're absolutely right in that she is certainly a candidate that Sanders and every other candidate should be concerned about because her experience as a prosecutor might bring along with it a questionable record, but it certainly also brings a debate style or an experience in a debate style that I think is going to undercut some of the progress that these candidates could make. So you're right in the optics. I mean, Bernie Sanders does in a lot of ways have to walk on eggshells, but I do think there are ways where he can prepare and improve on his messaging. Because what stood out to me in the first debate, and let's be fair, it's the first debate. I mean, we have many more to go and we'll see how things develop. What sets him apart from all these candidates claiming they're progressives, who are claiming they're championing the policies that he had put forth years ago, is his record. He actually has a record that's clear and consistent, but he doesn't seem to bring that up ever.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did well with his closing statement, I think he knocked it out of the park. There was one instance where they were debating Medicare for all, and I think Bennett came at him. And I noticed that Bernie thrives when he's mad. I noticed that Bernie, whenever he feels like he's in a corner and like almost like the questions around him are just really stupid and things that like we already know the answers to, and it's kind of silly that we're debating it in the first place. When he's in a situation like that, I honestly think that's when he thrives. When he comes across as like a little too pre-planned and a little too polished, I think that's when he doesn't land as well. And to give an example of that, I think they asked a question, Chuck Todd did, like, okay, if you could only get one thing done in your administration, what would that thing be? And Bernie went off on this tangent, and I think he thought was like soaring rhetoric where he was like, I reject the premise and I think we should do everything, Chuck Todd. And I was like, like just say Medicare for all, just say get money out of politics, and just like don't let Bernie be Bernie. It's funny because that was what Corey Lewandowski, Trump's old campaign manager, said to Trump early on when Trump ran, because everybody around him was trying to micromanage him. And Corey Lewandowski was like, get out of the way and let Trump be Trump. I feel like that should be the case for Bernie. Everybody needs to get out of his way, let Bernie be Bernie, and be that old, angry old man, because we relate to you. We're all mad too. We got $1.6 trillion in student loan debt. We got 30 to 40 million Americans that don't have health insurance. We have 30 to 45,000 Americans that die every year because they don't have access to basic health care. Our infrastructure gets a grade of D+. We're all mad. So, but be mad for us and like treat everything that's happening with these debates like the farce that it is. Like it's silly that we're even having this conversation as to who's the best candidate. And that's what I saw in his closing statement is he was basically like, come on, who we kidding? Like everybody knows it's me. Let's be serious.
I totally agree with you in regard to his closing statement. Unfortunately, the one part of that debate that really sucked the life out of everything else was the exchange between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And of course, over the weekend, we learned that Biden apologized for his comments in being boastful about working with segregationists in the past. Did you know that TYT Network is now available on YouTube's new streaming platform, YouTube TV? Get access to full TYT episodes and exclusive shows by signing up for YouTube TV today. All new subscribers get a 7-day free trial, so head over to youtube.tv and search for the TYT Network channel.